The November 11th date turned out to be fatal. Helped by my proprietary Saturn system, which proved definitely reliable into forecasting upcoming price targets with remarkable accuracy, I had identified the November 11th date to be a turning point for Bitcoin, as it was completing the upward impulse started in 2023 and giving investors the biggest daily candle ever registered in the history of Bitcoin. As noted in the previous weekly forecast, the 611th numerological date was an extremely important date because of multiple reasons. First of all, the natural date, which occurred at the exact midpoint of Libra and preceding Ophiuchus in the astronomically correct zodiac, was enough of a reason to consider it a noteworthy inversion date. Second, it was a really strong numerological date on the name chart, which proved correct on the October 29th top and subsequently on November 11th. Third, it was the anniversary date of the bottoms at $56,500 and $25,000. But there's a fourth reason. A thing I omitted since it's a feature reserved for the Saturn system members, is that it fell halfway between the last two square dates in my range backtesting technique, a method created by the master William Gann to check if your chart is correctly squared. A notable inversion date, gave away by the repeating digits for those who have eyes to see, which was crucial to determine the short-term future of Bitcoin. What came off as a pleasant surprise is that Bitcoin had harmonized its late coming to the October time top by correcting the price directly to $88,000, as I made publicly a known fact that a full spin from the compass provided in the Telegram free group to $88,000 would be equal to the spin made from the August 5th lows of $49,000 up to $66,500 in the following month of September. And it indeed reached target. As I was theorizing, the horrible fractal double top that was forming on October would have been a death sentence for the chart for decades to come, and since market makers knows best, it would have never happened. A quick recap. We are now drifting toward the November 25th range square date, onwards to the last date in December where the volumetric top is expected. Based on charts alone, yesterday gave new life to an already constipated Bitcoin, which had rested for 5 long months. This means that as long as the specific price target given by the Saturn system is held, the structure remains bullish. But since you guys should know already that when time is right price corrects, there are time factors to account for. Long short story is, Bitcoin need to touch approximately $100,000 plus before the year ends, January max, as per volumetric analysis. The fate of 2025 and 2026 ultimately lies on whenever Bitcoin should succeed. That said, I would like to continue the discussion on the anniversary date. On my X profile, I already noted that this year Bitcoin is celebrating all of his first transaction, which resembles an uncanny similarity with what is happening. Check those dates yourself if you don't believe me. The latest was November 6th, the next is November 20th. Anniversary dates, going not that far ago also, such as November 13th, which marks 100 days from the August 5th low, are to be noted. Following November 15th and 16th, where two important angles will cross, generating a strong reaction. Astrological time factors, such as Saturn turning direct on indeed November 15th, and thus completing its retrograde station started back in July, could act in unpredictable ways. The negative factors will be two. First is the Pluto transit into Aquarius, which happened last in 2008, and that goes without presentations. The second is Mercury turning retrograde on indeed November 25th. Mercury turns retrograde 3 times per year, April, August, and November. November 25th, as we said, is where we expect the price to drift in order to complete the range squaring started on October 28th and to subsequently go to the next date on December. But astrological factors aren't playing into Bitcoin's favor. As many of you already noticed, scamfluencers are already hyping their misfortunate fan bases with improbable targets. Some of them, which I used to respect, have also fallen to this shameful techniques of engagement farming. Some of them are even calling for a March top, even though we already had a March top this year. Why are they ignoring the fact that the previous run bottoms occurred indeed in March and November? Anyways, this means only one thing. Top signals have started to pop up since the election of Donald Trump. While FOMO can lead to dramatic surges, which isn't the case of yesterday, but can happen in the near future, it's also needed to remind with the words of 2 master traders far more competent than me on the matter. Let's suppose the stock or future was being manipulated in order to put up the price. First of all, the manipulator creates a favorable entry. He buys all of the stocks and then creates an artificial rise in order to lure traders. In other words, a good manipulator is a good trader, but a trader isn't a manipulator. This is why few wins in the market. When the public takes profit, the insiders buy because they believe that it's worth more and going to sell higher later. When the public selling is absorbed, It is easier for the buyers to mark the asset fast because they do not encounter heavy selling. Keep track of whenever positive news fails to rise the price. That's the sign that the swing has concluded. I say, market makers have entered the scene and are preparing for their last move, while retail is already dreaming of an alt season with BTC dominance, scoring new highs since 2022 and BTC stealing the scene. Guys, this game isn't for the faint-hearted. What's necessary is to understand the market, not to wish the market to go a certain way. Dopamine release is inevitable when those rise-up happens, but ultimately it is important to have a definite plan and to stick to it. Don't fall to FOMO. Don't listen to Scamfluencer. Make a plan, trade the plan. And for those who follows me since the beginning of the year, my plan has been going since that and remains unchanged. I wish to remind that the Saturn System and the Saturn Sharpshoot Academy are still on promotion up until the quota is reached, ultimately ending on December. Thanks for listening, and see you on the next update.